Hello, my name is Dr. Chris Williams, and I'm your host on Well Again. Well Again is our online health magazine program in which we look at fail-proof protocols and principles for regaining health and retaining health. You are welcome today. All right, today we are discussing. I learned that yesterday, 24th of September, was World Alzheimer's Day, and I decided we should do something around Alzheimer's disease. So today we are discussing Alzheimer's disease. So the first thing to do will be, what is Alzheimer's disease? What's Alzheimer's disease? I will try to describe it in several ways, okay? Number one, it's a type of dementia. Dementia is forgetfulness of chronic or really bad, protracted forgetfulness, okay? So we're not just talking about you forgot somebody's name or you forgot your key where you put it. No. I mean, chronic, protracted forgetfulness. That's what dementia is. So Alzheimer's disease is a type of forgetfulness, but it manifests with a decline in intellectual function. So after some time, the person's thinking, the person's judgment begins to decline, okay, apart from the fact that they are forgetting. Okay, another way to look at it is that it's an irreversible, progressive mental deterioration. Irreversible, progressive mental deterioration to such a degree that it interferes with somebody's daily social living or productive living. Okay, so irreversible, progressive mental deterioration in such a way that it affects or it interferes with somebody's daily functioning, that's either at work or in social life. Okay, so that is what Alzheimer's disease is, and there are several things to really say about it. So in Alzheimer's disease, memory and abstract thought are impaired. Memory and abstract thinking, the person cannot think abstract, and then also memory is impaired. There's severe memory loss, like we're saying, especially short term. I mean, somebody has just had their breakfast and then they are asking for breakfast again, and then you say, but you had the breakfast. No, are you sure? That kind of thing. I mean, that is not normal forgetfulness. I mean, something is really wrong when somebody has just had breakfast and then they say they haven't had breakfast. Okay, so there's severe memory loss, especially short term. They can even remember things that happened 30, 40 years ago, but what they used to what they ate this morning, they'll find it difficult to remember. Okay, it can also be associated with some kind of disorientation. Okay, so the person is disoriented, confused, and then and then if people don't really know what Alzheimer's is, many of them, people misdiagnose them as maybe schizophrenia or some kind of madness, but that it is not. Okay, another thing that can manifest in Alzheimer's disease is dysphagia, inability to find the right words. It happens, I mean, it happens sometimes to us, but when it happens so much, okay, it may be a pointer that the person is battling dysphagia. There may be mood swings, okay, confusion, especially as it progresses. Confusion will set in. The person really becomes very confused. Somebody wants to go and wee, and then he goes into the kitchen to wee, and then and all that kind of thing. Confusion. We have talked about disorientation, hallucination, and then sometimes delusion. What is hallucination? They may begin to hear voices that are not there. They may begin to see things that are not there. And delusion, they may begin to believe that they are who they are not. Okay, so somebody begins to believe that he is the wife of the of the president of a country. Meanwhile, he's just a peasant in one corner of the world. Okay, all those kinds of things. Okay, so disorientation, hallucination, delusion, especially as it progresses, and then confusion also, and then they may become, as it progresses, they may become violent. They may become violent or very angry, very irritable. Okay, and then some persons may become docile and very passive. They are just looking, and they are just withdrawn. So it may go either ways. In very late stages, the person may be wandering without any reason. He will just step out of the house and he will just walk and walk and walk. Some time ago, my mom told me about somebody in our village who they just started looking for her and a grandma, and then they found her like 2 or 3 villages away, and she was just in her loincloth. What had happened was that early in the morning she was pressed, so she went out to the backyard to wee, and then she wanted to return to her house just from the backyard, and then she wandered away to like 2 or 3 towns away. That's where they eventually found her, and then she told the people who found her that she was trying to enter into the sitting room, all those guys. So wandering without purposes. Okay, and then incontinence may also set in. Incontinence may set in. Now, so along the line also there may be neglect of personal hygiene. Neglect of personal hygiene. Now, so what are the causes, or what is the cause of Alzheimer's disease? Medicine had largely said that she doesn't know, but we have an idea what causes Alzheimer's disease. It's a degenerative disease of the brain, of parts of the brain that house the memory, that house the judgment and the thinking. A degenerative disease characterized by physiological changes in the brain. So there are physiological changes in the brain leading to degeneration. Okay, so there's an area in the brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the memory center. Okay, what happens is that nerve endings enter the hippocampus to supply memory there. Okay, nerve endings are the ends of nerves. The brain is made up of plenty, hundreds of millions of nerves. Okay, so these nerves work together to function as the brain. So and there are different centers in the brain. There's the memory center, there's the speech center. There are different centers. Now in the brain, so the memory center in the brain is called the hippocampus, and then so nerve endings enter there to take memory there, as they are working. However, these nerve endings begin to tangle together and mangle together. They begin to tangle together and mangle together because of production of amyloid plaques, beta amyloid plaques. They begin to tangle together, and that causes a whole lot of confusion. It causes an interfering of the flow of information. So the person begins to do hit and run in memory. All right. Okay. So plaques accumulate in the brain, damaging the nerve endings. Beta amyloid plaques. Plaques. They are called, or plaques. Plaques. Okay, so what this leads to is that new memories can't be formed, and old ones are not easily retrievable. New memories cannot be formed. Old ones are not easily retrievable. Now, there are some conditions that will need to be differentiated from Alzheimer's. Otherwise, because Alzheimer's disease is a disease that is diagnosed by exclusion. After you have excluded some other things, then you'll be able to tell Alzheimer's. Okay, especially the way it appears. Okay, normal dementia, senile dementia, that's old age dementia, is caused by the thickening. So dementia old age dementia, what we call senile dementia, is the more common type of forgetfulness as people are aging. And it is caused by thickening of the arteries and the arterioles that take blood to the brain. When there's a thickening of the arteries and the arterioles that take blood to the brain, it causes dementia. Also, there can be small blood clots formation in the arterioles that take blood to the memory center, and it gets little strokes. We call them micro infarcts. It can also cause some kind of forgetfulness. Brain tumor can cause forgetfulness. Hypothyroidism can cause forgetfulness. Advanced syphilis can cause forgetfulness. Okay, so all these kinds of things can cause forgetfulness. They need to be removed or separated before we are able, or excluded before we are able to say that truly this is Alzheimer's disease. Now, what are the causes of Alzheimer's disease? We have talked about the pathology, the things that happen in Alzheimer's disease. There's beta amyloid plaques formation in and around the hippocampus that causes an interference with the flow of information. Now, but what are the things that lead to it? Number one, low levels of vitamin B12, vitamin B6, folic acid, low levels of vitamin B12, B6, vitamin B3, and then folic acid. So that's number one. Number two is high homocysteine levels. High homocysteine levels. Homocysteine are products of inflammation. They are products of inflammation. Okay, so when there's plenty of inflammation in the body, and the body is not healing as commensurate with the rate at which the inflammation is taking place, there will be plenty of homocysteines swimming around the body, and that can cause excess homocysteine accumulation in the brain, can lead to Alzheimer's disease. Okay, when there's homocysteine, the body usually eliminates homocysteine by methylation. But when there is under methylation, that's low levels of methylation or methylation deficiencies, it can lead to a buildup of homocysteine in the brain, and then it can lead to Alzheimer's disease. Malabsorption problems, also problems in the gut. There is no chronic disease that is not related with some malabsorption or the other, or in the gut. Okay, so low levels of vitamin A and E also have been linked to causation of Alzheimer's disease. Okay, and then exposure of the brain to increased oxidation stress, which is almost similar to what I talked about in homocysteine. When there's plenty of oxidation and production of free radicals, it can destroy the hippocampus area, and it can lead to Alzheimer's disease. Low levels of boron, low levels of selenium, low levels of potassium are also associated with Alzheimer's disease. And then this one is important: high concentration of aluminum in the brain, especially in the hippocampus, in the cerebral cortex, in the gray matter of the brain. Okay, so people who one way or the other are exposed to excessive intake of aluminum, maybe people who use aluminum pots and they are not careful to discard them as an at-when due, or people who drink pipe-bomb water, government pipe-bomb water, it can lead to plenty of aluminum in the blood, and then plenty of accumulation of aluminum in the brain, and it can lead to Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is also connected to long-standing anxiety and depression. Long-standing anxiety and depression. People who have been depressed or anxious for suffering anxiety disorder for a long time, they can end up with Alzheimer's disease. Okay, 1 minute. Now, thank you. So family history also, it has been observed that people who have a family history, a first line of first degree family member who has had Alzheimer's disease, whether daddy or mommy, they stand at about 50% the chances of developing it. Also, if a twin develops Alzheimer's disease, the other twin stands about 70% chances of developing it. Now, what are the things to do about Alzheimer's disease? Number one, take care of your diet. It's so very important. Avoid the avoidables, the one we have always been talking about: alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, coffee, all these food that destroy health. Avoid them. Very important. Excessive animal proteins. One of the things that leads to plaques formation, we talked about beta amyloid plaques formation in the brain, is excessive also cholesterol. Cholesterol is also involved in the formation of plaques. Okay, so plenty of abuse of animal proteins and animal fats can also lead to that. Eating of sweet things, including sweet fruits, all those foods that we have always advocated that we remove from our food, or that will reduce them most drastically. Okay, so that's where it always starts from. Correct your eating. It's so very important. Correct your eating. Okay, and then take plenty of fiber foods. Okay, fiber containing foods. Okay, healthy pap is very fiber filled, healthy pap, and then you need to take it. All right. What other things should you do by way of lifestyle before we start talking about the herbs and supplements? Make sure you keep your brain busy. Keep the brain busy, especially as you are aging. Keep the brain busy in reading and writing and learning, especially maybe after you have retired. Don't just retire and abandon your brain. Brain, they found out, would degenerate faster as soon as people retire and stop using their brains. Okay, so very, very important. What other things by way of lifestyle? Exercising. They found out that people who have exercised all their lives, they have very decreased percentages of the possibility of developing Alzheimer's disease. Exercise. So exercising helps long before you develop. And when people have developed it, if they start exercising also, it can also help them. All right. So what are the things to do? What are the supplements? Intensive nutritional treatment with zinc, with vitamin B3, vitamin B6, and B12. Zinc, vitamin B3, B6, and B12. Also with acetyl L-carnitine, and then acetylcholine. Acetylcholine, beautiful. Acetylcholine, actually, choline is used to form the neurotransmitter. There's a chemical at the dendritic ends, at the nerve endings, where nerves join nerves. So nerves join nerves by nerve endings. They look much like my finger. Okay, so when this nerve wants to transmit information from here to here, it will seep some kind of chemicals, we call them neurotransmitters, into, and then this one will collect it, and then it goes on and on and on. Now that neurotransmitter, one of the things used to form it is choline. So, but when there's low choline in the body, it can also worsen forgetfulness and Alzheimer's disease. So acetylcholine is very useful in treating Alzheimer's disease. Boron is useful. Ubiquin is very useful. Ubiquin will awaken the mitochondria of the cells, even in the brain. Okay. Folic acid. You know, we talked about the fact that homocysteine accumulation due to undermethylation. Folic acid is one of the things that can really help to ginger up methylation. Also, lecithin granules are extremely useful in taking away liquefying the fats, emulsifying the fats, so that the fats don't go around blocking pathways, blocking arteries, and blocking arterioles in the brain. Also, this person should be on very heavy, very fortified, high strength vitamin B complex. Very, very important. Okay, S-adenosylmethionine is also very useful. SAM-E, we call it. Okay, and then vitamin E and vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. These are very strong antioxidants, and oxidants and antioxidants are very, very useful in battling oxidative stress. Okay, so vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E, they are very useful in arresting those free radicals that go around destroying the brain. We've talked about zinc. Zinc is important. Grape seed extract is also very important. Grape seed extract helps to mop up plaques, that beta amyloid plaques that bond or block the arteries or the arteries. Calcium, magnesium are also very important in the natural management of Alzheimer's disease. There's something called upazin A, and it's an extract from a Chinese herb called upazia, and then it's been found to also be very useful. Kelp is useful. Kelp will increase the iodine content in the body. Kelp is useful. Iron supplements are also very useful. Melatonin is useful. It makes the person sleep, makes the person more relaxed, because many times Alzheimer's disease comes hand in hand either with depression or anxiety disorder. Okay, so vitamin C with biflavonoids, we've talked about them. And then there are some herbs that are very powerful in doing a good job on Alzheimer's disease. Butcher's broom, curry. The curry that we use is also very good. And then ginkgo biloba is been known for years to help the brain, but it's important you don't take ginkgo biloba if it is not prescribed to you. As a matter of fact, there's nothing we are saying here that you should take until you have clarified from your physician. It's so very important. Do not forget, we are not prescribing. We are only giving this for information purposes so that somebody can know what to do. Kava and valerian will help you sleep better. They will also help literally snatch you from the dangerous hold of stress. Okay, and then there are some other herbs also. There's something called rosmarinic acid. Rosmarinic acid. It is found in rosemary herbs. It is found in sage. It is found in oregano. It is found in marjoram. Okay, rosmarinic acid. It's very, very useful in shoring up the acetylcholine in the brain. Also, curcumin in turmeric is also very useful. You remember we said homocysteine is a product of inflammation, and curcumin is very, very powerful in fighting inflammation. Okay, so these are the things that somebody can do in order to battle Alzheimer's disease, to slow down its progression, or to make sure it doesn't come near to you at all. If somebody who is in your family has had it, or if somebody near you has it, or you are in your 40s, you are beginning to look like you are forgetting things in a dramatic way, you need to do something about it. Don't just sit down. Okay. By the way, I left this. They found out Alzheimer's disease affects about 10% of adults at about 65 years old, and by the time they are 85 years old, it affects about 50% of adults. And then for some people, it may strike as early as 50, as early as 45, or as early as 50. So it's something you need to begin to work against. It's something you need to be. There's no way to say it. Once you have crossed 40, sir, you have to drop so many things. You have to change your body, change your lifestyle if you don't want to suffer in old age. I mean, it is not funny at all. Alzheimer's disease at the latter stages or advanced stages is not funny at all. People can't remember their their family members, they can't remember their wife, they can't remember their children, they can't remember, talk less of their grandchildren, they can't not remember their children. Their children walks into this room where they are seated and they are wondering, who are you? What's your name? Say, Daddy, do you know me? Say, I don't know you. Who are you? Leave me alone. It can really be terrible. And then sometimes it advances fast and it kills the person fast, but other times it advances slowly. So for some persons, 10, 15 years, closing to 20 years, they don't know anybody. They are just seated. They are not able to help themselves. They pull on their body. They wear on their body. They are not able to feed themselves. They just remain a what's it called? A burden to people around them, and that's not very good. So it's something that you need to do something about. It's something you need to do something about. Now, do not forget, we have not prescribed. We have only given this as an information, so to help you know there's something you can do, even by way of preventing. This is the way it goes. Whatever can help to cure something or reverse something can definitely help to prevent it. This is the way it goes. So if you have clarified with your physician, many of these things we've talked about, they are available. We can help you get them. We can tell you where to get some of them. We can help you get others. We can help you secure them and then send them to you. All right. Before I go, I usually will like to talk about our books and then also talk about what makes me tick as a person. I'm a child of God. I'm a child of Jesus Christ. You know, I've been working with him for 33 years. And in 33 years of working with him, I have not had any regrets, sir. I have not had any regrets. It's been good to me. The word of God says, taste and see that the Lord is good. For me, the greatest thing I cherish from working with God, that's for now, is besides the eternal assurance of eternal life, is peace. I mean, peace, happiness, because I'm somebody, I think my greatest value in life is peace. My greatest value in life is joy or is happiness. I can't stand unhappiness, and I found that in Christ Jesus. I found joy in Christ Jesus. I found peace in him, and I don't know what you may be going through right now. Joy, listen to me, joy is not a product of your environment. It's something that comes from within. He said the peace that I have, my peace give I you, not as the world giveth. Okay, the Bible calls it the peace of God that passes all understanding. It's an inexplicable peace. You can be, the whole world around you can be falling into pieces and you will still be at peace. I mean, we saw that in Acts 27 when Paul the apostle, I think there were 269 people in that ship, and the ship was about to capsize, but Paul kept telling them over 13 days, not 13 minutes, be of good cheer, be of good cheer. And he modeled happiness, he modeled joy, he was confident, because he said, God appeared to me and told me that nobody will die here. Okay, so in this world that we are in, especially in this part of the world where we are, there's a whole lot of uncertainties. The best thing I think one can do is take his hope and his faith and anchor them on Christ. Anchor them on Christ, anchor them on his promises, anchor them on the covenant, and then just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Okay, so if you want to give your life to Christ, you can do it right where you are seated. Just ask him to come into your life, come and be your Lord and personal. He can even help you with your health. Some people cannot, they can't get themselves to do the right things. They can't see the bad foods that are not good for them and remove their eyes. They cannot see the things that are not good for them and avoid it, because they don't have what it takes from the inside. Jesus can give you the inner resolution to be able to do the things you need to do in order to secure a better tomorrow. I know God will help you. If you call on him right now, he will help you. He will help you. He will first establish you in peace, establish you in joy, and then with time you reap the benefit of walking with him. Okay, so there are some of our books. I usually like to tell us about our books. The Sickness Free, Fail Proof protocol for regaining and retaining health. There's also make your food your medicine. Make your food your medicine, overcoming the challenges of healthy eating. And there's reversing hypertension and cardiovascular diseases naturally, and they're reversing depression naturally also, and this is very fantastic. And then reversing diabetes naturally. These are very powerful books, very extremely powerful books. Okay, so if you need any of them, there are things that can be sent to you wherever you are in any part of this country. Okay, do not forget, we have not prescribed, we have only given you information. Clarify with your doctor before you take to any of the pieces of advice that we have given here. Okay, and then do not forget to turn on your notification. Okay, and then also subscribe. If you know anybody who is suffering this, you can send this to the person, or you can send this on the groups where you belong. Help us spread this thing. Let it go around. Listen to me. Growing old is not synonymous with being sick. Aging is not the same thing as being sick. You can age and age gracefully. You can age without sickness. Okay, so help us spread this word. Subscribe, okay, and then turn on your notification, and then also share this thing, share it on the groups where you belong. Okay, and then also contact us on the WhatsApp. You will get us. The best way to get us is to send us a message through the number, the WhatsApp number there. Send us a message, and after, even if it takes like 24 hours, you can be sure that we'll get back to you. Okay, thank you so very much for listening today. God bless you till I come your way again next time. Bye bye.